Hi Aries, I hope you guys are doing great today. So we're going to be doing a deep love read here. We're going to start out with singles, go into couples, end with complicated. I'm going to timestamp below. And any of the transits that I'm going to be discussing, I'm really only going to be talking about three. The new moon in Leo, Mercury entering Virgo, Venus entering Libra throughout the month. This is for the whole month. This is not just a weekly thing. And I'm not going to be including anything having to do with money, career, family, like I normally do. This is specifically for relationship. A lot of people have been asking me to go back to doing the deep love reads for the once a month thing. So the transits, everything I'm going to be discussing has to do with relationships, okay? So I just wanted to get that out there straight out of the gate. Anything that I work in having to do with the astrology, I'm only going to be connecting it, how it might be impacting relationships for you guys. So let's just get a general lay of the land for those of you who are single first. Okay, let's start out with our single friends. Let's just pull 8 cards and see what we have going on. I feel like there's a lot of healing though for you guys going on right now. So talking about those 3 transits, we have the new moon in Leo happening on the 8th or 9th, depending on where you live. And that's happening in your 5th house. 5th house is love affairs, falling in love, romance, really nice energy, I do have to say. It is hanging out. Mercury is hanging out in there until it slips into Virgo on the 11th. But what's going to be happening here is there's going to be a lot of need for balance. There's going to be, first of all, a very strong desire for change having to do with whatever's going on in your romantic sector right now. Like, you know, if you're in a dry spell or if you're maybe juggling several people, whatever it is, but you're going to be very sort of sensitive because the moon is all about our emotions, right? And Leo is about love and loyalty and falling in love and love affairs. Now, there might be the idea of children somehow impacting your relationship right now, only because 5th house is the house of Leo, and the new moon is in Leo, and Leo 5th house energy does rule children. Okay, so it rules many things, but it rules children, right, with keeping it within the confines of relationship. But there's going to be this desire for change, to improve things having to do with your romantic life, right? I really like it because whatever you're going to be manifesting here, you want to look for like towards the up to the end of the month for these things to manifest, right? It doesn't like boom happen on the 8th and 9th, depending on where you live. You have to give it a couple of weeks to roll out. But what I do like here is that we have the star energy. So the star, first of all, this is a time to find a soulmate. Those of you who are single, Aries. You know, the Leo energy really is, again, it's pulling in about love, right? And then, but the star is, in astrology, it's Aquarius, right? And what is Aquarius? Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. It's about, boom, shocking surprises, to work towards the future. But there's some sort of healing element. There's this hope. There's this guidance. There's this change for a better after a difficult time. And so even if you're in the space where you're like, I don't care about relationships anymore, I am so done and over, you know, I'm happy being by myself. Well, if you were that happy being by yourself, you want to be watching this video right now. Now, maybe you just like checking the temperature of the water. You know, you could be, but there is this idea of it's time to get up and find your soulmate. Now, some of you could very well be in this space where I'm single right now, but I feel like I am meant to be with somebody specific that you still have feelings for, with the 9 of Pentacles energy, 9 of Wands energy rather, which is this like you're tired, you know, it's you've been in this long hard battle, but you still have fire in your belly left for somebody, even though you're still sort of feeling in the space of defensiveness about what went on in the relationship. You would still like to entertain it. For those of you who have nothing still, you know, nothing lingering in your immediate past, like in your energy here, this is you being pushed to find your soulmate. Even if you're really tired of going out there and dating, going out there, now it's time to balance it out, meaning this is a really good time. This is a really good month, particularly with Mercury and Virgo. I want to talk about that for a second. For you to end a challenging time period having to do with relationship. There's Mercury and Virgo that's happening on the 11th. Now, this is going to be transiting your 6th house. 6th house is the home of Virgo. Sixth house is mental, physical, emotional health. Sixth house it's many things. It's work, it's all that, but it's your health and it's your day to day. And so you getting up in the morning, putting your feet on the floor, going in to brush your teeth, all of that, there's got to be some sort of change in your life right now. Because in tarot, this is a Ten of Swords energy, which means that it's, even if it's painful, even if it's uncomfortable, there's got to be an end to a time period that's been challenging. So if you're single because a very painful relationship ended, it's time for you to allow that ending in order for you to heal now, and for you to approach life from in a new way, in a very new way. And this is the thing with the new moon and Leo energy. Understand, like, there's also this energy where you could be pushed to make very abrupt changes, almost for rebellion. You want to be careful of doing anything prematurely. So if you are in this space where you're single and you're like, I don't want to be single anymore, or you're single, I want to be back with that person, you want to really make sure that you temper what it is that you're doing. Take your time and breathe it out for a little bit. Just make sure you breathe it out, because there's got to be fairness going on this month. It's all about win-win situations. It's all about everybody checking, doing a temperature check on making sure everybody's emotional needs are being met, because there's a lot of love energy that's hanging this month. Besides the new moon in Leo, which is all about love affairs, falling in love, romance, all of that stuff, and then Venus in Libra, which is going to be from the 16th all the way through September 10th, there's going to be this strong desire for relationship energy that can simultaneously show like a kind of cool detachment, and not in a negative way. It's like, but we can easily become over idealistic about how things should be, right? Which can easily make us, or easily prompt us, I should say, to gloss over potential deeper issues that need to be discussed. And I'm really speaking to those of you who are single now because of a relationship that ended, if you are thinking about going back to somebody, right? Because if you're not resonating with it like that, it's you putting that idea of balance and fair within a love situation is recognized the only way. That's the only way to grow it, right? And you know what happens here too, Aries, like when we have this new moon in Leo, it's recognizing how important friendship is in a situation. Because Leos, when they're in a relationship, friendship is so very important. You know, love and loyalty, but friendship, right? So you're not giving up. What I like, those of you who are single, you're not giving up. You're moving forward. Beautiful. I love it. I mean, you're bringing new for yourself. And then we have the beautiful Justice energy, which is Libra, right? Which is where Venus is going to be popping into this month. So listen, I just want to say, why do I feel like I'm almost getting a complicated read? Okay. For some of you, the Ace of Swords can be getting over past obstacles, thoughts becoming things through fairness, through this sort of redressing of balance and fairness, and looking at, you know, how everybody was feeling and how equitable everything was in the relationship. But, you know, and the truth coming out and there being balance, right, through objectivity to attain a win-win situation. And, you know, fairness is at least being looked at. For those of you who might be thinking, oh, you know what, I do want to go back. I'm not done with that, okay? But those of you who are starting brand new, Ace of Swords, really nice energy for new beginnings, where you're going to be thinking very clearly in love, very clearly. And that clear thinking is going to switch up your circumstances for the better. But there's this idea that you want to be very careful of. Recognize the difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Very important to understand when we're dealing with a Leo energy, right, this month, right, and it takes a few weeks for it to roll out. So we're really going to be vibing this new moon energy for the month of August, with the Mercury and Virgo energy hitting on the 11th, right? Virgo's a very critical sign. So our conversation and our mental faculties are going to be very critical, very critical of ourselves, but also critical of others. Now, for you, it's going to be in that 6th house of problem solving, you know, but it's also figuring out what it is that you really, really want, you know, and making a decided choice to end a challenging time period for yourself. So I like that, right? So you want to make sure that you do that with assertiveness and not aggressiveness. Now, what could aggressiveness look like? Well, if you're single, an aggressive act in this way would be just going out with anybody who asks, even if you vibe in that they're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, you want to just be careful of that. But just being very mindful of what matters. Now, we have the Page of Wands, and then we have the Eight of Swords. So very interesting, because I feel like for some of you, some of you may be meeting some people who you would feel, for lack of a better term, are very immature, a bit of a player energy, and you're being like, no, I can't do that, right? The Eight of Swords is like, no, I don't belong in that. That is like not me. Some of you may be in that space. Some of you may be in your player mode. Those of you who are single right now, and you're like, you know what, I'm not jiving with that anymore. I kind of feel trapped. I feel like this is like the cycle that I'm on. Either, you know, that you feel like you need to kind of adopt player tendencies. That sounds very negative, but like we're just dating a bunch of people and it's like, oh, nothing's ever going to change. Or you feeling like all you do is me pleasure. That's never going to change. And you just kind of feel very trapped in whatever cycle that you're in right now. And you're totally over it. You just really are over it. The Ten of Wands, it's like, I've had enough. Overwhelmed. Like the whole jam is just very burdening for you, right? The whole deal with trying to find somebody that you really like, find somebody that you connect with, all of that, it's just too much, right? And you're just very in this space of communicating with yourself first and foremost about what you want, need, and desire to feel grounded, rooted, and safe and secure in a relationship. And what I like about this is you're ready. You're ready. I mean, this is a very highly intelligent, emotionally intelligent energy, not afraid of intimacy, not afraid of looking at what's necessary to make something work, right? And the Queen of Cups does indicate this kind of deepening, this falling in love kind of vibe, right? And the fact that you have that moon in the 5th, I have to tell you, chances are those of you who are single can easily be meeting somebody, and then with Venus in Libra in the 7th, expect that relationship is going to go somewhere. It really is. You just want to make sure, though, if you're meeting somebody, let me just pull some energies here about. Oh yes, look at that. We got the Tower clarified by the Nine of Cups. That is done. It's that whatever happened in the past, it's done. Look. You have to release whatever it is that's still hanging on you from the past. Even if it's just simply your perspective about being single and your whole philosophy on relationships. Because now you just want to be happy. Whatever happened, happened. Now it's time really, really, really to just put yourself out there. Let yourself heal. Just make sure that if you're meeting a person in this Queen of Cups energy, that you don't find yourself glossing over things, right, that need to be discussed because you don't want to put the person off. There is a way of being able to strategically do it. You know, be strategic in your conversation. You know what I'm saying? But it does seem like somebody new is coming in. But you're very open. You're ready. You're ready to just close that chapter. I love it. I really do. I love it. I feel like by the beginning of August, it's going to be like, that's done, that old relationship, the idea of being single, because you know what? There's nothing wrong with being in a relationship. Your past relationships and whatever you've been going through, that does not have to inform your future, doesn't. You have the choice to clear that up, right? All right, my friends. So that is for those of you who are single. Let's go into those of you who are coupled. All right, I have a feeling some of you are going to be hanging out for the complicated. Just saying, I don't know. We have the Five of Cups coming into this energy. So there was some sadness in the past here, Aries. Those of you who are coupled, there was this loss, this leaving, some sort of challenge within the relationship where you were either separated or something ended, at least for the time, before you felt ready for it. right? But now, like, you're going into the space of feeling ready to move on. Assimilate that old stress and sadness, whatever happened there, in order to make this new start. I mean, right now you have the King of Wands energy, which is very much being focused on a free spirit. Now, what does that mean? That means that sounds very, very independent. And in a way, it might seem like that, but not really. Wands are will, passion, and motivation, right? And this is a Cancer and Leo energy. So Cancers are very, very focused on home, safety, security, and Leo's very focused on loyalty and love, right? So, but you want to express yourself, and you want to be able to be in the connection, but also have some sense of autonomy, which is totally Aries, right? I mean, well, fire, well, not only fire, actually air, but Aries for sure. You want to be able to, you want to have that deep connection. You certainly do want that, of course. But it's like, it's that battle of the, well, how do I typically put it? I just wrote it in somebody's report. It's like that age-old dilemma between the desire for freedom and the desire for space, right? And you still needing to exercise your individuality within the relationship. But this is the thing, you want to make sure, it's a really good energy to get your point across, for sure, especially with Mercury and Virgo. Yes, right? And I feel like with Venus in Libra, there's going to be a softening, there's going to be a stronger ability to say things and have them come out a pretty good way. To address any sort of issue that's been going on that's been challenging, because it does seem like something unhealthy has been going on up to this point, and you need to express what it is that you want, need, and desire. And part of that, Aries, I'm getting, is that you don't want to feel like you're not going to be able to be the best version of yourself within the relationship. You can't give yourself up for the relationship. And things might be very busy in your relationship right now, busy in your life together, certainly, and maybe you feel kind of lost in all of that, and that needs to be looked at. But don't worry about the idea of perfectionism, right? Nothing is perfect. You don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfect. Everybody brings what they need to the table, as long as things are properly expressed, though, right? As long as things are properly expressed. Now we have the near future, we have the Three of Wands, and this is one of the good fortune energies. This is a thriving energy. This is an indicator for a wedding. Those of you who are in that space, important relationship for those of you who are just maybe dating, or maybe you're in a newer point within your relationship. But this is moving on to realize plans. But you might be doing it in a little bit of a different way. So I'm going to tell you how I'm getting some of you are going to be dealing with this. So, just very interesting, because I feel like, all right, let me just get this out of the way, because this is really very strong. I'm speaking directly to those of you who are in a partnership who are trying to conceive right now. Because we have the sun energy, we have Mars, we're going to have this new moon energy all in this 5th house for you, which opposes the 11th house, which is where Saturn and Jupiter are sitting in Aquarius, which Aquarius does rule science. So I do feel like if you've been having a lot of challenge conceiving, this is a very positive energy for you guys to try something non-traditional. This is a very non-traditional approach to making what it is that you want to happen. So some of you may be seeking out science for help, some sort of IVF, or going to a doctor, or seeing what the deal is with that. Some of you may be realizing that you want to move on, or you want to do something differently, like even if it's together, right? I mean, the Three of Wands is like, moving in a very unconventional way, right? But balance is very important to maintain here. And the best way, the advice here is the Nine of Pentacles. So very focused on yourself. You need to really make sure that your body, mind, and spirit are in check, that you feel good about what it is that you're doing. Because if you're not feeling good, Aries, you're going to bring that energy into the situation that's going on, and it's going to end up hurting the situation. So if you've been struggling with anxiety, depression, if you've been struggling with just not feeling overall really good about yourself, whatever it is, focusing on yourself as a path forward to creating a healthier environment within this relationship. you know. Now the energy of others external to you, we have the Nine of Wands. So I feel like whoever you're dealing with, if you guys have been going through a challenge, and it does seem like that, they still want to be in this with you. They might be tired, they might be defensive right now, they might be many, many things, right? But they still want to be in it with you. They just have to be careful of maintaining a positive mindset, not staying in a negative space, but looking for the value in this. Now your block here is the Judgment reverse. So you might feel stuck in the past or refuse to learn the lessons that are here for you to look at. You might find yourself, Aries, stuck in some sort of old pattern of thinking, old pattern of behavior, and you're not ready to break free from that patterning just yet. This could also indicate delays where you feel trapped and unable to progress forward without really understanding why. And this is serving as a block for you. But the best thing to do here, accept the past, be really fair about how you showed up in whatever happened here. Forgive yourself. Just, you know what I always say with this energy? Just look at whatever happened in the past and say, I only know that I was working with the tools that were in my toolbox at the time. I didn't know any better. I have to forgive myself if I look back and maybe I'm not proud of some of the things I said or did. But at the same time, you have to think about this same way with your partner. If you want it to work, everybody did the best they knew how in the moment. Doesn't mean that mistakes weren't made, you know. But this is nice, beautiful. Marriage energy, deep connection, soul connection energy, justice, Libra energy, landlord of the 7th house. So this is about really right now looking at balance and fairness, being so important to look at right now. Because Venus really wants us to feel very good about something that we're in, right? She values things that are equitable and loving. So you really want to make sure that your emotional needs are being met. And don't be surprised if in all of this, if in this Mercury and Virgo, if in this Venus and Libra energy, and after all, Venus is going to be in Virgo first until for the first half of the month still, and then goes into Libra. So we have like a lot of critical conversations here going on here where the truth can come out. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's all about fairness. And it does seem like that's what's going to end up happening here. Unleash your creativity. Go the distance. Beautiful. Unleash your creativity. This is a 5th house energy. This is a Leo energy. This is where the new moon is going to be. Go the distance. I like it. Be of service. Virgo energy. Virgo, and you have Mercury in Virgo. Listen, this is really about recognizing that, I'm like, listen, as my queens come out, Queens, New York. I say, hey, any of you, those of you from New York. No, but seriously, the be of service energy is really speaking to this Mercury in Virgo, right? Which is this 10 of Swords energy, which means something's got to be ended. Right? And again, the 10 of Swords energy is still a minor arcana. It's not a major arcana. It doesn't have to be a long-lasting thing. It just means that one thing one thing after another, time over time over time, one sword in the back, time over time over time. It ends up creating the situation where it's like, oh man, you know what? We can't do it like that anymore. If we're going to last, we can't do it like that anymore. We have to sit down and we have to problem solve, because that's what Virgos do best. They solve problems. And that is where Mercury in Virgo is hanging out, in the house of Virgo, in that 6th house. So I love this for you guys to be able to figure out and get in front of whatever's been getting in the way of your relationship being the best experience that it could be for you guys. So that's what I see for you guys for the month. I hope that was helpful in some way. Now we're going to move on to our complicated friends. We say, you know, maybe if you want to hang out for that, these are usually a little more complex, but a lot of messages come out here. I'm going to do a couple of spreads for our complicated people, because it's not easy being in a complicated situation. Yeah, you're in an emotional stalemate because things need to be tempered. You want to feel the support, but you don't feel the support that you really want. You're not feeling it, and you don't feel like, and I'm not saying this because I'm speaking to you, but chances are it's kind of like on the shoulders of somebody that you're dealing with, or an outside situation that's impacting it. Because with the Five of Swords energy, there's this clash between what it is that you really want and the reality that you're living. But that tension really is, and that conflict really is coming from a person or a situation that you can't control, right? So you can't mitigate somebody else's stuff. You can't fix somebody else's stuff, right? You can only deal with your own. But because this is clarifying the Three of Cups, which is really about feeling abundant and feeling supported, you're not getting that energy that you want. You're trying very hard to figure out how you could bring some sort of like tempering, trust, cooperation, how you can get past this volatile or challenging time period, but you're in an emotional stalemate. You need to make a decision. You want to protect yourself, but this particular situation isn't going away. Yeah. All right. Some of you might want to balance things out for the sake of children. Some of you may want to balance things out because maybe you're pregnant right now. Some of you may want to balance things out because you want to start a family, you want to grow with somebody, you want to get married. It's like, oh, we've come this far, right? Can't we do this, right? It's Temperance being clarified by the Empress energy. With the Two of Swords being clarified by the Six of Pentacles, very interesting, because this is like, I have your back, you have mine. This is really helping each other out, having to do with support, having to do with finances, having to do with engagement with family, having to do with engagement of property, how inheritance is being worked out here. So there are several things that could be playing, all of the things that I said. Several things could be running parallel, but you being in this very sort of two minds about the situation. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of you are really sort of like, should I leave or should I not? Like, what should I do? Because it's very interesting. Here we have with the energy of the of wanting to feel like a lot of support being clarified by the Five of Swords, which is indicating you're not getting the support that you need. Then we have the Knight of Cups, which is a proposal, right? A proposal. So some of you may be sort of thinking about actually going with somebody else, or just the idea of meeting somebody else. It could be that could be some of you. Others of you may be in this space where, how do I say this? Either you or the person that you're dealing with, there might be a lot of lip service involved. There might be somebody who's presenting themselves as very much an idealist, coming off as like really perfect. Yeah, I want the same thing as you, but just kind of saying it to appease the situation, which, by the way, have your spidey senses turned up for that, because Venus and Libra can bring that. It's like, all right, I just want the relationship to be okay. I just want us to get back on our feet. So it's the kind of energy where it's like, say whatever needs to be said in order to bring that into being, right? In order to make that happen. Just kind of, at least for the moment. But then at the same time, you're recognizing like the reality that you're living here is really not what you're wanting. And then we have this moving on and detachment. At least taking a break from the relationship. At least taking the break. But there's confusion here, because I could feel like even though there's confusion, there's not a complete sharing of the confusion. There's almost like this element of everybody trying their very best to play nice. Like when you guys do talk, because it's, you guys are in a very sort of tender spot in the story, Let's pull a Celtic Cross spread. See what's going on with you, okay? Let's get your story first. Seven of Wands. Yes, I mean, you feel like you got to draw a line in the sand and say, I can do this, I can't do that, right? Mars and Leo, right? Things might be a little challenging now. You might even feel like you have to fight for the relationship, but there's this energy that you have to stand up for what you believe in. You're going to be in this space where you have to defend yourself. You might even be feeling like you have to defend your relationship to other people, like maybe friends or family members who were like, wait a minute, Aries, what are you doing? Why are you giving that another go? Like, are you thinking about what? You know, some of you might be in that space. Others of you, just between you and this other person. Because we got the Five of Swords is showing up again as your challenge. Look at this. Different spread, different deck. Right? Like, it's just, like, there is just the best way of putting it. There is this clash of desires and reality here. There's this clashing between what it is that you really want and what's happening. Okay, so the basis right now is that you guys are just, like, not in a good space. Some of you are probably not even together. The relationship maybe is over. I'm putting it kind of in air quotes because maybe at least for now, right? Necessary if you guys are ever going to find your footing again in the future, right? Because whatever's been going on up to this point, it's not good. It's not healthy. So yeah, we have the Ten of Wands in the recent past. I mean, obviously we weren't expecting anything else, right? Overwhelm, burden, responsibilities, too much. Yes, for some of you, it might even be that, you know, you're in this relationship, you guys are living together, and you're just like mad busy with work, family stuff, children, craziness going on, and you're not giving the right amount of attention to the relationship. Maybe intimacy has been, you know, kind of like a little peekaboo kind of thing every now and then, you know, but not healthy. Not healthy. Definitely not healthy. And you in the space of like just trying to figure it out. Queen of Coins as the current situation. I have to say I like this because this is you taking care of you. This is Queen of Coins very much like taking care of your body, your mind, your spirit, your finances. You're trying to take care of yourself. And at the same time, as an influence, this is a marriage energy. This can also indicate money coming to those of you who are coupled, right? It depends on, because some of you are married for many years, some of you are married a short time, some of you are just dating. So it obviously it depends. But this also has the idea of fertility as well. But yet we have this ending and beginning, this death energy, scorpionic energy, which is Pluto. It's about transformation. But in order for something to transform, right, some part of it has to end first. There's got to be a death before there can be a rebirth, right? Wow. All right. Powerful. Every now and then, right? We get this where it's clear as day. Look, I mean, the Tower does indicate this necessary surrender, this need to be very realistic. You know, this is kind of like the lights have come on, the red flags are no longer hiding, and it's time to let go of the way you guys have been relating to each other in this relationship. And even though you might have been vibing, things are in a weird space, we would call those red flags, you haven't really wanted to look at them. But what happens with the Tower, the gift of the Tower, more specifically the gift from Mars, because this is a Mars energy, is that whatever's been going on is not good for you. At the end of the day, it's not going to bring you the relationship, the connection, and the love that you really want, need, and deserve. It's just not in the way that it's been. It's just not possible. Now, a lot of this has to do with this inflexibility with the person that you're dealing with here. Okay? And we have this Knight of Coins energy. What I mean by inflexible is like this element of something missing. It's like this energy where you're dealing with somebody who, for some of you, this person might be really loyal and dependable, where they have a ton to offer. For lack of a better term, they could be a rock, but they're missing something, and you can't not see it anymore. You can't not see where you guys don't have things in common. You can't not see that they're not contributing more in a more proactive way to the relationship. That they're not as communicative as you would like. That they're not contributing financially to the point where you feel like it's fair, based on like what you're providing to the relationship. But there's this something missing. And this is the external energy. So we have what's blocking you, though, is this Page of Coins. Page of Coins, this is the personification of earth, so very practical energy. So for some of you, the ending of this relationship, for some of you, you might be looking at your finances saying, oh my gosh, like, you know, am I going to be able to do it on my own? Or what is this going to mean for our investments? Some of you are going to be resonating like that. Others of you are completely like shut down to the idea of being able to meet somebody new. Because this is your block, and Page indicates a new cycle. So this could be a new cycle of connection. But this could also be a new cycle of having to work really hard to make the relationship work. And that's a block. Now, whether you are feeling challenged in what you feel like is necessary in order to really fix this, or you might be challenged by the fact that you are with somebody who you know in your heart isn't going to put the work in for this new cycle, you know, having to do with what's necessary. Now we have the Four of Cups in the near future. This is very important to understand this. This is very important minor arcana. Because on the one hand, there could be this feeling of restlessness, feeling of disillusionment about the relationship, right? And I always call this the checklist card. You're like, I can't be with them because maybe they don't work enough, they don't communicate enough, they're not romantic enough. We're on different pages when it comes to intimacy, when it comes to our interests, taking care of ourselves, fill in the blank, whatever it is. This, can't be with them because that. And all of that might be true. But what also simultaneously needs to be addressed is that you have a need to heal something in you from your past that this relationship is poking at. Whether it's your fear of poverty, your fear of abandonment, your fear of fill in the blank, but there's something in you that needs looking at. And I feel like you're going to be learning it because we got the World as the final outcome card. And the World is the best card in the deck, even though it's Saturn. It's like, yes, I've learned that lesson, and now it's time for us to be happy. So for some of you, this might be like, for example, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say you're working, you don't feel like your partner is bringing in enough money, or maybe they're not working at all. Maybe you perceive them as being rather lazy. Let's just say that, okay, just for the example here. And you're like, what? Here I am in my Aries vibe, doing my leadership thing, doing what I have to do to get things done, right? Very go-getter fire energy. And for obvious reasons, if you guys are living together and your partner's not working, obviously that's going to make your shoulders feel a lot heavier, obviously, right? But there might be more than that. Like, did you come from a space where maybe you struggled as a child with money? Where you come from a place of lack? Just using this as an example. Where even if your money is okay, you have this sort of imprinted on you. This echoing of lack, so that even if you have money coming in, you always have this fear that money could go out just as easily, right? Depending on which transit in your chart. And so it's that, right? Where it's like, it's not only that they're not contributing, but it's also them contributing pokes at that visceral fear that you have of lack. And then everything falls on you. And that could be really overwhelming. But how healthy would it be for you to sit down with your partner and say, look, this is why this bothers me so much. It's not that I have a problem contributing, and it's not that I want you to be unhappy in whatever job or doing whatever. It's that this is something that I struggle with, and I need your help in helping me deal with this. because the only way for us to move forward in a healthy way is for us to help each other work through each of our fears. Instead of poking at them, we need to help support each other. And that's what I'm talking about. Beautiful. Ace of Coins. Beautiful. Four of Wands. Beautiful. Lover's energy. Four of Swords. Figuring out a different strategy. Being patient. Working hard. King of Wands. Nobody's got to be perfect. Ten of Swords. Time to end that challenging time. Mercury and Virgo as that final energy. And I feel like it, like ish the middle of the month, right? Because this hits on the 11th or 12th, depending on where you live. So I just feel like you're going to be having these conversations that are going to help change the affect of your relationship. But listen, I'm telling you the weather. If you guys are too dug in, or if you're dealing with an energy that just doesn't want to have the conversation, that's totally different, right? But this is the energy that's certainly going to be available to you. Now, for those of you who are in separation, the thought of you with someone else drives me crazy. I'm resisting my desire for you because it's too late now. We've grown apart and you moved on. Ooh. I want to hold you again. I need to feel your body next to mine. Okay. Somebody's not. I've committed to someone else because they don't challenge me. What? Hold on. They don't challenge me. Dragonfly. Be lighthearted, finding out. Things coming to light. Adapt, change, heal. I'm resisting my desire for you because it's too late now. We've grown apart. You moved on. Outdated thinking. Conditioning. Replaying events over in their head. I mean, they're clearly, whoever you're with, they're telling themselves this particular story based on their own fears and vulnerabilities, obviously. I want to hold you again. I need to feel your body next to mine. Lightning, sudden change, shocking news, surprise, epiphany, upheaval, transformation. I've committed to someone else because they don't challenge me. And then love call. Someone expresses love, a message of love, thinking of you, and I'm letting you know. Okay, listen, if you guys are in a complicated situation where there's like a triangle going on, I feel like you guys are absolutely going to be communicating. All right, I need to pull, hold on. Let's pull some clarifiers on that. Dragonfly. Give me some information about what's being found out here. What's coming to light? What's got to change and heal? The Six of Pentacles. The idea of money and connection in this relationship. Moon and Taurus. How do you guys feel about money, about your belief system, about yourself? Share, not your belief system so much. Moon and Taurus is more, how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about money? Like, this needs to be addressed. How do you feel about connection? And how do you feel about how well you guys are there for each other in that way? So the outdated thinking, what needs to be addressed here? We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Inability to commit, feeling struggled and overwhelmed. All right, so that needs to be addressed. Lightning, what is it? Give me some information on the sudden change, the shocking news. Lovers. Lovers is all about being, it's Gemini energy, and it's about a choice. It's always about a choice. Are you guys going to come together and work it out or not? What's going to happen? So lightning, somebody feeling very overwhelmed and shocking, coming forth saying, look, I want to work this out. What do we have to do in order to work it out? As that is the Lover's energy. It's recognizing that there is a cloud of conflict between the two of you. And the only way to clear up that cloud is through making the decision together that you're going to work on it together. And then the blessing of, you have the blessing of Archangel Raphael on your union. I can't speak, union. Love call. Someone expresses love, a message of love, thinking of you and letting you know. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. This is somebody who is, wow, I mean, somebody who's like deliberately cruel. Somebody who could even be a bit of like a violent person. there could be like a very like loud exchange going on here. And then we have the Ace of Wands. This is all about new beginnings, right? A new chapter of passion. So there's some sort of new chapter of passion after a really, like, I have to tell you, like the Knight of Swords, I mean, this is like nasty, like yelling at each other. Kind of like, what are you kidding me? You've been with somebody else. Da, da, da. Oh, but I want to be with you. Really? You know, just like deliberately cruel, like ripping a new one, right? But then it's like, right, the Ace of Wands. This is very, again, very auspicious energy for new beginnings, new, right? Virility, growing something, new chapter of passion, feeling very motivated. So it does seem like those of you who are in a weird space, the energy does support you guys working it out, but just be prepared. There's going to be a very wicked exchange. A very wicked exchange here. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me pull some of my homemade oracles here on this energy. I love everything about you, even though I may not like you sometimes. Okay, this is kind of cute. Seeing you reminds me of things I know deep down, but that I struggle to deal with. I'm insanely attracted to you. I kind of got that. I love you, but I'm afraid to lose my freedom, and I don't know how to balance this. All right, that's worthy of a conversation. We don't have to lose our freedom in relationships. So that's somebody is playing some sort of very, how do I say that? Let's say false narrative, but it's almost like, it's like a little deeper than that. I almost feel like the person that you're dealing with is living by this law or this rule that they've somehow along their path they established as something to be a truth in life. And I feel like in relationship it's like things have to be very black and white. There's not enough gray. And it seems like the two of you together, because Aries, I mean, you could tend to be like that too, right? That's an Aries energy too, is being very tunnel vision. A lot of times, right? If you're feeling like not your best self and your shadow manifestation, we all have that in every sign. But it does seem like you guys have to find a way to like live more in the gray rather than the black and white. All right, my friends, I hope this was helpful and lent clarity in some way. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in a few days for the general forecast. All right, take care now. Bye-bye.